All right. Welcome to the NASCAR Live Chat with Hamm and the Beer Man.
Special guest Beer Man here today.
That's right. If you don't know me, I'm a 25-year NASCAR engine builder, recently retired a little over 6 months ago. I was a 7-year jackman, and I'm owner of Hammscapes Landscape Equipment and Repair and Restoration Company here in Statesville, North Carolina, a.k.a. Hamm on the radio, 92.9 and 550 WAME, 1/3 of the WAME Chillbillies. Check us out on the Facebook and the Instagrams. And so we're going to roll on into some of the stuff. All right, see what we got on here. We got Paul. Man, I tell you what, it's tough getting old. We got April Webb joining in, Terry Quinn, Paul Rodriguez. This is the shirt that Paul gave me. Thank you very much, Paul. And Lakeith, I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name. I'm not really good with reading that kind of stuff. Latikia, a new watcher, I do believe.
Here's to you.
Welcome to you. And so what else I got? Oh, subscribe on YouTube to DHAM I Am if you're listening on the podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, I do have a podcast now. It's Hamm the Engine Man. So you can do a Google search for that, and you can listen to the podcast as you're driving down the road. But typically, I do this NASCAR live chat at 7:30 every Monday evening during NASCAR season. And during the off season, I'll probably stick with every other Monday. And then when Beer Man's here, when he's not gone on vacation, or is this your vacation?
This will be my vacation.
Yeah, because he's, basically.
Paul's been having me come to Florida all the time, so you never know. But don't forget to hit like and subscribe.
Yeah, there you go. So, because Beer Man's basically been living down in Florida and out on his boat. So do you have like your own zip code out on the water?
Yes, I do. Yes.
It's
C-Tunes.
Yeah, C-Tunes is the name of his
C-Tunes,
boat.
baby.
Yeah. And then if you wonder what key he plays in on the guitar, mostly it's in the key of Florida. Or the key of C. That's a new one. I saw that new C, SEA. So he gets lots of vitamin C.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to talk about today. I'm going to go over how the 2019 NASCAR season ended. I'm going to go over the Truck Series, the Cup Series, the Xfinity Series. The last weekend at Homestead, Miami Speedway, Kyle Busch has the new champion, and Beer Man's got some stuff to add on that. And we'll also look at some interesting facts over the past decade. I'll do a little bit of show and tell. We got a game. I won't spoil it. Y'all see. And then we're going to talk about the Gen 1 through the Gen 7 car explained. Because I think a lot of you don't really understand.
Yeah.
You've been hearing lately about this Gen 7 car. But there is an explanation. Gen 1 started, I guess it was around 1949-ish with the beginning of NASCAR. So let's see here. We got a comment. Latikia says, I'm from Penns Grove, New Jersey. How much is it to see a race? Okay, I would say probably the best person to answer that question is Paul Rodriguez. So, Paul, tell her. April, this is the new connection is unstable. Come on now. This is actually Beer Man's cave. I call it the Beer Man cave, but it's got Trevison's place. He's got all these old shirts. Like this one from 1996, this one from 1995, this one from 1999. This is from the Bell South car, sometime in the 90s. This one would be 2000, I believe. And this one was somewhere in that range, and I believe something like that. So, yeah, a lot of good old stuff in here. If you can see the roof we're ceiling, he's got old pictures. He's actually got some of me in here. There's one of me right there.
Yeah,
I bet you can't see.
Yeah.
So there we go. But we'll get into that show and tell here in just a little bit. But I want to go over. So NBC. These are some of the things going on in the NASCAR Cup Series first. We had the NBC earned a 2.2 rating and had a 3.7 million viewer for the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series championship race at Homestead, Miami.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It is down a little bit from last year. They had 4.1 million viewers. Now, I don't know if they know how many people are watching online, if they count how many people are at the track, and they include that. Probably not. But I'd still say, it's still pretty strong. 4.1 million people strong. And I know a lot of my friends on here are like, what do I do now on Sundays? Because there's no NASCAR racing. So I mean, hey, I know you always find stuff to do, but we do love our NASCAR and keeping up with that. All right, NASCAR is looking at adding a 2020 short track package. This is because of the current 2019 one-size-fits-all package has hurt racing at short tracks and has benefited the 1.5-mile tracks. All right, so Dale Jr. was named honorary start for the 2020 Daytona 500.
So, like, back up a second. Before you go over that,
yeah,
one of the best things about 2019 was they improved the mile-and-a-half racing track.
Yeah, they did. They improved the mile-and-a-half track. So, yeah,
that's a really good thing.
Grab yours because I can't. Mine's doing the spot and all that good stuff. We're going to get Scott to get his phone. That way we can see your comments a little bit better. I mean, instead of me trying to scroll down here. Hopefully it'll scroll down by itself. So Mike Joy and Jeff Gordon will be the only two in the announcers booth at Daytona so far. I mean, I'm thinking, which is fine with me. I don't think we need more than two announcers. I think when you get four and then you got some in the turns, I think it's too much for me. Seat was left vacant when Darrell Waltrip retired last year, of course. All right, so Front Row Motorsports. Sounds like the race team is laying off several employees. Of course, we hear this every year in NASCAR. You always have layoffs. It's getting more so in NASCAR, the way things are going, the way things are changing. And so anyway, selling its third charter to Rick Ware Racing, which has already announced that they will race 3 cars full-time in 2020. All right, so Joe Gibbs Racing drivers led, and now forfeits aren't going to like to hear. Thank you. Aren't going to like to hear this, but Joe Gibbs racing drivers led 39.4% of the time this season. How about this? 4,047 out of 10,000 laps, basically. Yeah. So, well, I'm going to say Scott was down there for the championship win. He was down there with the Toyota. Well, you can explain it.
We're good friends with the Mars family, so we went down as guests of the Mars and the M&M's folks, and we go there quite often. And it's tough, but you got to wear the M&M's logos, and but I still had my Ford hat on, and that was really the most important thing. I wore my Ford hat most of the day, most of the weekend actually, and so it was good. But we were fortunate to actually win the race and to victory lane, and obviously the championship. But every race was really exciting. Kyle did a great job. Samantha did a great job. Go to my Facebook page, check out some of the pictures I took. Right there with the burnout. And, it was fun. And it was bittersweet. I really wanted to see that Ford win with Kevin Harvick, and but we did see Matt Crafton bringing Ford home in the Truck Series. A little Tyler Reddick, that son of a gun, man. He's a racing son of a gun going RCR next year. He won the Xfinity Series, and then obviously KB won the Cup Series.
Your phone's buffering. I don't know if you got it on Wi-Fi.
Or as Winston Kelly would be saying, the Premier Series, as you're going to be hearing a lot next year. It's going to be called the Premier Series as compared to in the past the Cup Series. They're going to slowly transition that in, just like they transitioned the chase into the playoffs, right? Nobody calls it the chase anymore. We all call it the playoffs. So they're going to call it the Premier Series. Still waiting to hear what the big sponsors are going to be on the Premier Series. Still quiet.
There may be several of them.
Yeah, they're looking for 4 $20 million sponsors. Actually 5, but they'd be happy to get 4.
Yeah. I guess you got to start somewhere in that
so
case.
Keep your eyes 4 major sponsors the Premier Series going.
Okay, Richard Bain says, I'm a huge Mark Martin fan. What is he up to these days? Last I heard he was working over at Roush.
Or down in Batesville, Alabama.
And that too. But I heard
Arkansas.
He was going to come in, and we have Arkansas. He was going to come in and do some management over at Roush Fenway at some point. So
they need some help over there.
Yes, Latikia, Dale Earnhardt Jr. did retire, but he will be racing. Apparently, he just likes racing in the Daytona 500, and I'm sure there's some money involved there too.
Is he going to race on 500?
Well, that's what it says for 2020. He's already lined up.
Yeah, he can do some Xfinity races and all that. That's money. That's where he throws 3 of the 4 of the All-Star cars in number 8. Like Daniel Hammock's going to drive the number 8. There'll be
Jeb
Burton's going to be the number 8 next year, and then also Bill Jr. But
all right, so elsewhere in the Cup Series right now, Joe Gibbs. Let's see. Justin Marks recently announced his retirement from racing, but he might have his eye on NASCAR ownership in the future as he looks at the next-gen car. Okay. Joe Gibbs Racing among serious bidders to build next-gen chassis. And then I believe I heard Penske was up there also. You know, the next-gen chassis, we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But there's people already bidding on doing it. I suppose just like an engine deal, you know, Ford, if they change to I don't see them going to a one manufacturer engine deal. But I mean, like saying like the Truck Series runs the Chevrolets, you know, built by Elmore. I don't see the Cup Series ever doing that. I wouldn't rule it out now, but I'm just saying, not at least for a few years from now. All right, Cup Series rookie Cole Custer will have a veteran voice in his ear this season. Andy Houston will be his father.
Oh, Andy Houston.
How about that? Oh, Andy Houston.
I don't know who remembers Andy Houston, but he got the old number 6. Buick.
So, well, Houston family's been around, you know, NASCAR for.
Well, that's where Teresa Earnhardt
Tommy,
come from.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tommy Houston's daughter, right?
Yeah.
And then Marty Houston.
Yeah.
Andy Houston. All right. Joe Logano breaks a Guinness world record for his longest Hot Wheel track at 1,490 feet in his garage, and he celebrates by doing a burnout in a life-size Hot Wheels Mustang. I actually saw Kyle last week and Morgan. I know you saw him down at Daytona.
Yeah, he's on Tilly. Hardly.
I saw him up at Tilly's, and I meant to say something to him about that. Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to talk about other stuff. And then he had to hit on. They had family in town for Thanksgiving, or Morgan's family, so they had to bust a move by the time I got there after doing radio.
So he showed up, signed up.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, at least he came.
He
got up there and sang a little bit.
Yeah.
Sang up there with the Ford Danny car.
Did he sing the Belly Button Monster?
And Sidney Lett. I was doing the radio show, so I missed his singing. But I saw
Sidney.
Sidney Lett got up there and sang something.
With him? With him?
No.
Oh.
No, she sang in between. It was Kyle, then it was Danny Carr,
yeah.
then it was Sidney, and it was Danny Carr. She sang while.
Oh, Danny Kerr. She put some stuff.
Yeah, or she's called Carr. Yeah, or established.
She's a sweet lady.
Oh yeah, she is. She's great.
Young lady.
Yeah. Jimmy Johnson announced that 2020 will be his final year.
No way!
What a shocker!
So all you 48 haters, the chores. Yep. Okay. So
there you go.
Okay, so let's talk about it. So the 48 is leaving next year. Is it going to be a walk-off home run? Is he going to win the championship?
Most likely not. Not the way he's going.
Right? That's right. Terry Quinn loves the Belly Button Monster. I know. She knows that song. That's right. That's right.
Gosh. Yeah.
But anyways, the 48's gone. It'll be a farewell tour for Mr. James Johnson.
I think Tracy's asking what's on my shirt.
What's
for
on
James Johnson? Yeah, that's
James Johnson.
GT 500. Ain't that what it says?
I think so.
That's a pretty big car right there. And on the back, it's got Ford Performance and all that good stuff on the back. Maybe I'll give you a shot of the back here in just a little bit. So Paul says, I think outside companies should be tapped to build stuff for NASCAR. Too much conflict of interest otherwise. Yeah, but I was saying, Paul.
Dude, Mike Helton owns the company they get the hoods from, bro.
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah.
Mike Helton owns the company they get the deck lids from, bro.
Yeah, I didn't even bother going and talking to Mike Helton. He was at Tilly's also.
Yeah, was he? Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I
was just like,
that's okay. I walked right on by him and talked to Terry Levin.
That's okay.
It's all good.
It's all good.
Let's see. Joe Gibbs. Joe Logano. Sorry, I need to keep my finger right here where my notes were. Jimmy Johnson announced 2020. He has 83 wins, 227 top fives, and 36 poles. All right, and we'll talk more about him whenever we go through the decade of the 2020s, but up to 2020, 2010 to 2020. The last time a Cup Series started a season without a driver with 3 titles was in 1969. If Kyle Busch doesn't win the 2020 championship, the long-standing 51-year streak ends with Jimmy Johnson. So it's always, you've always had a season that had a driver that's won 3 championships.
Yep.
Apparently, yeah. Well, since 1969, anyway.
It's bound to. It's been a very interesting season.
It sure is. So now Terry says now Johnson is saying he may not retire from NASCAR full time. My guess is he will be in the booth. Oh, okay. That's a very good possibility. Maybe
or he's going to be doing some off-road racing.
Yeah.
He's tired. I heard on the rumors when we were down there that he's just kind of mailing it in. So
yeah,
he's going to mail in one more year, and that'll be it. And then we'll figure out who will go in that car next year. It's still too far to tell.
Yeah.
Because what happened years ago is when they named the replacement, and remember when they were going to have Casey King and all. They're going to do that again. They're not going to do that again. Chevy's going back, and actually, the news I heard that Chevy's going to submit new noses for the 2020 season. So they're going to try to help.
Well, what I noticed about
teamwork, baby, they got to share information, man.
Yeah, I noticed about their new nose. It looks like there's a little bit more of a flat edge, just a little bit wider on the front. So it looks to me like it's going to give them a little more downforce in the front.
We'll see.
Maybe it'll punch through the air a little bit better. So yeah, we'll see. Who knows?
Who really knows? They didn't even make the championship for.
Yeah. So check this out. You've probably heard this recently. The team of Premium, number 15, 27, and 77, and Rick Ware Racing, number 52, were docked 50 owner points. And comp chiefs, I'm not sure what that means, of Premium Spire. Oh, Scott Eggleston, our buddy Scott.
Oh, Scott Eggleston.
Yes.
Hey, baby.
He was fined $50,000. Rick Ware Racing and Kenneth Evans fined $25,000 each. So Scott must have had a big deal in this thing. We need to get Scott on this sometime.
Get Scott on the phone.
About it.
What's up, Egg?
So, yeah. Both are definitely suspended for manipulating the finish at Homestead.
Indefinitely.
Yeah. Indefinitely. Oh. Whatever that means. Does that mean he's definitely not coming back or what? Eggleston called me in 2000. Yeah, the end of 2000 season. He called me at Savco and he was like, hey, do you want to know? I was working for Carl Wagner. I was going to work for Carl Wagner. He calls me up and says, hey, do you want to come jack the car for 2001 for Michael Waltrip? You know what happened in 2001? Michael Waltrip wins the race. Dale Earnhardt gets killed at Daytona. And but anyway, I went over there, and it was just a little bit of a dog and pony show. They were trying to get their jackman to step up his deal, so they just had me go out there and try out. They gave me the old jack that the handle, when you push down, the universal would clock and tighten the jack. So it was whatever. It was a bunch of politics. So I wasted my time. But anyway, I ain't got no hard feelings, just whatever. I kind of didn't want to go back. I ended up going and jacking for Armando Fitz in 2001 for the 11 Busch car.
Well, it was tough. It was all for to be the first unchartered team in that position, and so they got caught.
Yeah,
you can't do that, so we don't know what's going to happen. But he ended up getting the Rick Ware team, and then the 77 Spire team. They all get help from the Premium Motorsports. And then Joe Nemechek was in the other Premium Motorsports 15 car. So they had those 3 cars fall out so the 27 can get above the 96, is it? The Gaunt Brothers car. And so they got caught.
Yep, so they can try to win.
So maybe Egg's had enough. He's probably done. I don't know.
Yeah, he maybe just had enough to get out.
He loves Scott Eggleston.
Oh, yeah, Scott's great. So NASCAR was asked to review right after the race the 15, 77, and 52, all parked before the end, helping the 2017 finish, one spot higher than the 96 in owner points.
What he said, yeah.
So yeah, the top open team and the owner points gets half of the unclaimed purse when there are short fields.
A lot.
The next 2 split.
The
remainder.
Mucho dinero.
So the total unclaimed purse for the short fields was probably $1 to $1.5 million. So difference between the top open teams and the next team was probably $200,000 to $400,000. So this penalty is bigger than the fines listed.
That's it.
Something like that.
That's it.
This penalty. So Scott Miller says, following a thorough review of the race data and driver team communication from the season finale at Homestead, as well as interviews with several competitors, Miller, NASCAR has determined those teams were violated sections, They have been penalized. The money is split. And now the 96 team will get the top team share instead of the second team share. So, yeah, they busted. All right, Corey LaJoy was nominated for 4th quarter NMPA Spirit Award. Yes. As he raised more than $100,000 for Samaritan's Feet.
Corey LaJoy's a good dude.
Yeah, he is.
I talked to him when I was down in Homestead.
Yeah. If you don't know, his dad used to race.
Randy LaJoy.
His dad, yeah.
We were about to talk about some stories about Randy LaJoy when we decided to cut it loose.
Randy was a character.
Oh, he still is.
Still is. I haven't seen him in so many years. Yeah, they provide that charity provides shoes for children and individuals in need. So very cool. Ryan Blaney was first quarter. Ty Dillon and second quarter. Kyle Busch third quarter. Overall winners will be decided in first. I'm not sure what that's for. Okay. JTG.
Yes.
To Rodriguez Stenhouse.
Yes, Brian Petty's out at Roush.
I think it's a decent combination.
Yep.
Well, we like Brian Petty. We worked with him many years ago.
That's right, Terry Quinn, the joy of seating.
He was, that's right. He does those seats over there in Concord. Actually, still over there.
Yep. Randy LaJoy used to drive that 74 Fina car.
Yeah.
Well, we had some fun back then, man. That's when they was up at the shop and Birdie. Remember Birdie, the crew chief?
Yeah.
He used to be the crew chief. Man, Birdie used to drink a lot of beer, man.
Yeah.
And so did Randy.
Oh, yeah.
So did we.
He won some races, but he never lost a party.
Yeah.
So.
He never lost a party. Him and Del McCoward.
Yeah, Del McCoward.
Del McCoward, one of my heroes.
Yeah, he called me. Yeah, I don't know. That's another story.
Another story, folks. Keep going here. You may run out of time here.
All right. So congratulations, Brad Keselowski and Paige Keselowski on Big Sister Scarlett as they welcome to the family Autumn. So congratulations, Brad. You got you another one there. Yes. So Brad was on he was on Unfiltered with Michael Waltrip, and he says that he doesn't like the playoffs, which I'm gonna tell you, I like his way of thinking with this point system though. He thinks it should be the driver with the most wins who gets the championship. The final race, take the 4 drivers with the most wins and have them race it out. If between the 4, none of them win the race, then the guy with the most. He says that's what a lot of fans want.
What if you start off the season with 4 wins, right?
Yeah.
And then you lay an egg the rest of the year. That means you get to go to the championship? No. That's Brad. Those are Brad K's rules because he won like 3 in a row, and he thinks he's going to mail in the rest of the year.
Maybe they should do it in like quarters or like a football.
I know, Rachel. I love Brad K, man, but that's not going to go with it, Brad K.
Yeah. So anyway, give us your opinion on here because I kind of like to see what y'all got to say about that.
That's right.
All right. So Xfinity and Truck Series news as part of the Atlanta Motor Speedway 2020 improvements.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be an improvement number 9. Opening the garage area into field campers at Xfinity and Truck Series races March the 13th, 2020.
Yep.
If that kind of makes sense.
So they're going Daytona. Then they're going to go West Coast right off the bat, and they're coming back to Atlanta.
Yeah. Okay.
Boy, that's going to make those boys. And did you hear Ed Clark retired? Yep. Ed Clark is retired.
Yep. Actually,
legendary. He's like the number 2 man at Speedway Motorsports.
Yeah,
He's been along, one better longer than Bruton.
Yeah, old Bruton. Starting next year, the Truck Series will be called the Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series. The RV is being added, basically. I could have said add an RV.
Boy, that's going to be a lot of acronyms when they do the scheduling, right?
GRRVOTS.
Truck Series.
Woo! Oh, boy.
We love our buddy Marcus, though. He owns that. He's fighting for the American flag here in Statesville, North Carolina. And he won, baby. He won, didn't he?
He won, and he probably picked up a lot of new customers.
He told my buddy up there.
That's what it is.
Told him what to do.
I see. That's probably good.
Way to go, Marcus.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
All right, Zane Smith and Shane Lee will join GMS Racing in the Truck Series. More regarding GMS. They announced they are closing their Xfinity team to concentrate on their truck and ARCA programs. This frees John Hunter Nemechek to look elsewhere. So John Hunter has been subbing for Matt Tift at front row, but Tift and front row parted ways regarding a medical issue. So do you think John Hunter's going to stay over there?
We hear rumors that he's going to stay there.
Yeah, I would think they would keep him.
So my boy Hunter Nemechek's going to hang there, and then you're going to have the other 3 aspiring rookies. Christopher Bell going to go with the 96 car, right? Levine Family Racing. You're going to have Cole Custer, who's replacing our buddy Daniel Suarez.
Right.
That's not amazing.
That's amazing.
That's not amazing.
Yeah.
And then the other one is
the Benedetto.
No. The other one is
The other
Christopher Bell, Cole Custer.
Yeah.
Going in that car, and then Tyler Reddick is replacing Daniel Hemrick, who's leaving and going to drive for Junior. So those are going to be your four rookies in the Xfinity, hopefully, and hopefully John Hunter in that front row motorsports car will show them the way.
Show them the way. We need to get John Hunter on here sometime.
We do, man. He's so cool, man.
Yeah.
He's a lot of fun.
You know, I honestly, I've talked to him whenever we had him on the radio, but I haven't seen him face-to-face since he was a little kid.
He's tough,
man. I was Jack, man, for his dad whenever he was born. So I stopped in there, but he wasn't there.
We're working out.
Yeah. So let's see, big news for Matt Snyder, who will run a part-time schedule for Richard Childress Racing in the Xfinity Series. All right, as we get ready to enter the new decade, here is some interesting news that happened over some NASCAR facts that happened over the years. This decade was the first full decade of no lives being lost in NASCAR. Dale Sr. was the last in 2001. So that was 9 years, and then another 10 years. So it's gone pretty
19 years.
So yeah. Yep. How about that? Winningest drivers in 2010s were, take a big guess at the first one.
Kyle Busch.
Yep. Kyle Busch. He had the 40 wins.
40 wins
in the
last 10 years.
Yep. And then the next one was Kevin Harvick.
And
he had 38.
Ooh, you only missed it by 2?
Only missed it by 2, man. That's
Come on, 4? You know what?
Just that close. Tell us.
Somebody might have to stick around for 2 more wins there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know, man. Hold on.
Well, now, yeah. You know, how many more years does Kevin Harvick got?
Not many.
I don't know. Yeah. And how many more does Kyle Busch have? Probably many. They go as long as Jimmy Johnson's gone. And he's, 34 years old, I believe. He's still a young guy. Jimmy Johnson in the 2010s, you would think that he would be up there. Of course, 2000 to 2010. I think
old, yeah.
Jimmy Johnson with 36 wins. So he's in the 3rd place with the 2000.
36 wins, WAME.
So then it drops down to
92.9.
Denny Hamlin with 29.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's really
and he's tied with Rachel's favorite,
Brad K.
I don't see Rachel on here. Where is she at? She might be watching Hallmark tonight or something. What do you think? Terry says, silly season. And Linda says, that's Don LaJoy. He was talking about that earlier about Rita LaJoy. Can everybody still hear us and see us good? Because sometimes, I got this hotspot on my phone is what we're using. Hopefully, and I got my new laptop going, so hopefully y'all can. So give us a thumbs up or something. All right, so the next on the list, he was tied with Brad Keselowski, who I was saying that's Rachel's guy right there, and our guy. We like him too. Next is 25 with Martin Truex. Okay, thank you, Linda. And Joey Logano, 22. Matt Kenseth, 22. Still in the top 10. And Carl Edwards. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When I was building for that team, we had we had years. I think 2006 was probably one of our best. I think it was 2006. Anyway, we had a few years there where we were winning races left and right with Matt Kenseth, Greg Biffle, Carl Edwards, and we had people that maybe shouldn't have been winning races that was winning races. But, those guys definitely need to. But, yeah, so there we go. April says, y'all are good. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so the champs of the decade. Let's see, who won the most championships in the 2010s?
The teens.
Yeah, 2010s. Yeah, basically that's it.
Got to be Kyle Busch.
Actually,
got 2.
Well, you're right. So I said the most. So this list just lists out from 2010 to 2019. Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson.
No, he won 2010. Tony Stewart won 2011. Brad Keselowski 12. Johnson again in 13. Harvick 14. Kyle Busch in 2015, and Jimmy Johnson again. So 2016. So it's got to be Johnson. Then Martin Truex 2017. Joey Logano 2018. And then Kyle Busch again.
So it's 3 for Johnson.
3 for Johnson, yeah.
3 for James.
3 of his
Johnson.
3 of his 7. So the other 4 must have been 2000 to 2010.
Yeah. Also over here, Tracy, that one over there.
Which one?
Just wants you to point out the pictures.
Oh, the pictures that I'm in there. Yeah. You know, Nemechek has one hanging up over there, and I would like to get a copy of that because I don't have that one.
Ooh.
It was from when we won in 1999.
So who was the greatest driver of the teams? Was it Johnson or Kyle Busch? Is it the wins or is it the championships?
Is it the wins or is it the championships? And who has had crew chief changes, team owner changes, and still won races?
It's about the championships.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to give James Johnson the driver, even though he's kind of went downhill since his there. Yeah. So, all right, keep going.
He's just getting up in the years. All right, so we have all-time wins here, of course, in the Cup Series. We are stating we still holds Richard Petty with 200 wins, and we got Dale Pearson with 105, and we're not counting Kyle Busch because that was the Busch Series, the Cup Series, the Xfinity trucks, all that. So Jeff Gordon with 93 wins, so he's in the 3rd place of all-time wins. And then we have Bobby Allison and Darrell Waltrip tied for 4th, and they'll never break that tie between the two of them because they don't drive anymore. Kel Yarborough and Jimmy Johnson with their tied for 5th. That may change if Jimmy Johnson wins next year. He may bump Kel to 6th, and he'll go to 5th of all time. So we're going to do a little bit of show and tell right now.
Show and tell?
Yeah, so Scott's got the show and tell stuff.
Oh, it's my turn? Okay.
Linda says championships. That's a new one. That's going to be a T-shirt. How about that?
Championships.
Who's your favorite? All right. This is the game that Scott came up with back in 92,
93.
Something like that.
Yep. Highbanks, the Speedway trivia game. Basically my board game that I created. And it has this.
The king to sign it.
Yeah, so this is my Oscar Richard Petty autographed one.
Yeah.
I had got the trivia cards in there, little micro machines, and you run around the board, get the crew chiefs. We had a great time playing that thing, designing it and everything. And that was my way of breaking into NASCAR. So people always say, how do you get into NASCAR? You know, you got to come up with your own ideas or come up here, work for free, notice somebody. I made the game, sold it on my own for a couple of years, and then Mattel came and bought all the questions, and they put it in the 164 skill. And they had the cars from Hot Wheels called Fast Facts, and they had a little computer chip in the windshield. You push the button and the trivia questions. So I got rid of that. That's when I became the Coors beer man after that.
So when you developed this game, what did the box look like then? Because I don't think you had to mail the other car on it.
Oh, when I first developed it in the beginning, I had you had so many prototypes, and that was the thing, trying to find out the right artwork, the right logos, and it's all about getting those sponsors. You know, my first sponsors were Bill Simpson over here at Simpson Race Products because I wanted to get some money back behind it. So I would go out and try to find sponsors. I kept getting no. We want $10,000 from you, and Bill Simpson was the first one. Said, Scott, I'll do it. So Bill Simpson came on board, and then my folks from Eddie Hickman from Goodies at Headache Powder, they came on board. And then over here is a sandwich construction company, which the restaurant over there by the motor speedway. Chris Politis, and he helped me out. And then obviously Meligo was the last one. So I got my sponsors, and then I manufactured it and sold it on my own. So we're gonna give you a couple of trivia questions before we cancel out here. And David and I, we were going through a couple of them earlier, and let me see what I have here.
Oh, and then I guess the Meliello part come along when you introduced it to Felix.
That's right. When I met with Kyle Petty and all that.
Yeah.
So that's why we put Kyle Petty's car, essence, the Meliello car, on the front of the box.
And I think that car was one of the coolest cars ever.
Yes. And it was accept the ultimate challenge if you dare.
I came along, man, the Meliello. I was hanging out with the guys wanted to be on that team, and that was the last year of Mel Yellow.
Yep, yeah.
And I got hired in there that last.
All right, how many people we got on? We got 6 people on.
The cars were still the Mel Yellow, so yeah.
Okay.
You'll win this one.
Who was the first winner at the Charlotte Motor Speedway? I mean, that's an easy one, right? The first winner, the first Cup winner at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Surely we've got some. Terry Quinn's got Sandwich Construction Company. She's probably been there before.
Yeah, probably has.
Does anybody know who the first winner at the Charlotte Motor Speedway was? How about I turn the card around?
Fireball?
Fireball Roberts.
World 600.
World 600, 1960. Yep. Yeah. Okay.
So my dad was there when got in his big wreck. He flipped over and there was fuel. It caught on fire. That's not why they called him Fireball. He's already had that name, but my dad was there. He took off running down there. And I guess Ned Jarrett was in there and helped pull him out and all that.
What track is located in the Irish Hills?
Yeah.
The Irish Hills of New York. No, dude.
I just said
what track's located in the Irish Hills? Way before my time, April says. They still race in the Irish Hills. What track is in the beautiful Michigan? I knew Terry knew that one. Yeah. Duh. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can find some personal history ones here.
There you
go. No, 1960. Yeah, see. Yeah, no, 1960. You're right. There you go.
April, you don't remember that? You were only 10 years old in 1960, April.
Really?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
Not really. So there you have it. What else we got there, Beer Man?
All right.
One more coming up.
How many races did A.J. Foyt win in NASCAR? Come on. April, I know it's probably not. A.J. Foyt, he was an old driver too, yes. Remember, this is an older game, y'all. How many races, NASCAR races, did A.J. Foyt win? I mean, legendary A.J. Foyt.
Yeah.
What?
I remember him getting in for, what was it, Aaron? Who was that guy he smacked? In a winner's circle or something, come up here.
That was in the IndyCar.
That was in the Indy stuff.
Two. A.J. Foyt won 7 Winston Cup races. 7, yeah, man.
Okay, well, then.
Yeah.
Got me on that one.
Yeah, I got
I must have
you on
been
that
before
one.
my time because I wasn't.
All right, hold on. Let me go one
I
more.
remember him racing, but.
What is the length of Richmond Motor Speedway? Or Richmond International Raceway, as we call it. Or now it's called Richmond. What is the length of Richmond? What's the length of Richmond? Is it a mile? Is it 2 miles? Is it a mile and a half? Is it a half mile? Come on, race fans. What's the length of Richmond? There you go, April. 3/4 of a mile.
There you go.
0.75.
How about that? All right.
That's a nice little.
All right, so there you go. If y'all want to, sometime we should do a video where we're just playing this game and just asking questions, and that's it.
Yeah.
What y'all think about that? That's a good idea. Ain't it?
That's right.
Okay.
Wait. I got a question. I got one for David Hamm because I know none of y'all know it, and I don't know it. Are roller cams allowed in NASCAR?
Yes, they are. Yes. Now, back then, I don't know when this game was made, but they are now. And
no,
they were not allowed in the Cup Series until about 5 years ago.
What the hell's a roller cam? It's over there by the long way.
It's okay. In the Xfinity Busch Series, we ran roller cams for many years. And only in the Cup Series till about 5 years ago, I guess it was. And I'm going to tell you something. The roller cam engine spins a lot easier when you're turning and adjusting the valves and doing all that stuff. Flat tappet cams, you build one of those and you turn it, it's like, ugh. So, but the roller cams actually made things a whole lot easier on those engines because before that, we were still like chipping out of the cams and we're replacing lifters like crazy. Lifters would blow up. We put rollers in them, no problem. And that was a smart thing NASCAR did finally. So about 5 years ago in the Cup Series. So that question is a tricky one.
It is,
but it's for the time. You should add on there.
It's hard.
Previous to
no, dude. When you're trying to make
10.
800 NASCAR trivia questions,
yeah,
it wasn't easy.
Yeah,
but yeah.
See what Paul is. Paul says I delivered a trailer to a guy in Homestead on Sunday. He was a lifer in the USCG. He did security body work on pit road at Homestead for a while. He ran into Ernie Irvin years ago and realized that he went to high school with Ernie in Salinas, California.
That's really cool.
He had Ernie sign his yearbook and he had said, I haven't ever signed a yearbook before.
Yeah, we still see,
how about that?
We still see Ernie around town every now and then. He kind of lips a little bit, but he's cool.
Still comes around.
He knows Jen.
Yeah, I told him, I introduced Tracy to him, and she knew Tracy's dad, right? He knew Tracy's dad right away whenever it was talking about it. And he remembered the old story of my Pinewood Derbies where I didn't show him how to win. Because I beat Ernie Irvin. My son beat Jared Irvin. Spanked him on the Pinewood Derby race.
What's the length of Talladega Superspeedway? What's the length of Talladega Superspeedway? Come on, April, help me out here. What's the length of Talladega Superspeedway? I used to do this a lot of times when I was doing my contest. So I'd take my game to the racetrack and I have everybody set up around me, and I was doing my questions and I'd be reading questions, and I really forgot to realize that there you go, 2.66, Terry. There you go. And I had the answer on the back of the card. See?
Yes.
2.66.
I did this, but she accidentally hit 2.6, I think.
Yeah.
I think she meant 2.6.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she had 2.26. Okay.
All right.
So we're going to talk about the Gen 1 through the Gen 7 cars. If y'all don't know what that means, the Gen 1 car, it began with NASCAR's inception in 1948 and reached the mid-1960s, which was about being strictly stock. So I remember, like Kyle would say, they get in a family car and drive down to Charlotte Motor Speedway and get out. This one, that they had a speedway down near the airport. I was trying to figure out, he was on Wilkes Boulevard, Little Rock. It's supposed to be the old speedway right there. I don't know. This is what Kyle was telling me. They drove down with his dad, and they ran a race, and then got back in the car and drove home. Wonder what happens if, whatever. I guess you can get a tow truck to take you home if you had wrecked the car. These cars were literally taken from the showroom to the racetrack, and with the only modifications being decals and doors that were strapped shut. So according to NASCAR.com, 1965 was the last year in which a Ford raced with a stock chassis. All right. And basically a heavy-duty rear axle required to keep the cars from flipping, door strap shut, seat belts required, stuff like that. All right, Generation 2 car was 1967 to 1980. The featured cars with the modified frames for the first time, the first step in a long line of safety and entertainment-related developments in NASCAR. Even though these cars were modified, their design was still largely matched. Those are the cars at the dealership. And they were some great-looking cars. That was the Plymouth Superbird, the Dodge Charger, and the Chevy Monte Carlo. Those were,
April's got to go. Say goodbye to April.
Okay, bye, April.
Love to meet it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us.
Yep, thank you for joining us. All right, the Gen 3 car was 1981 to 91. With less about looks. Although NASCAR did attempt to make the cars look more like production cars, when it reduced the wheel size to 110 inches, the wheelbase, 110 inches, and more about speed. The restrictor plates NASCAR abandoned this season, which were used to moderate speeds at Daytona and Talladega, were the product of the speeds these cars reached on the superspeedways. And when I said this season, meaning this year, they ran into tapered spacer, no more restrictor plates that were running back in those days. All right, this was generation in which, this was 1981 to 91. This was the generation in which Chevrolet saw a ton of success in Carlo. And then the Lumina, Buick began slipping in 1985. All Cup Series winners drove either a Chevy or a Ford. The last manufacturer championship Buick won was in 1982.
Woo! That's your graduate college. High school.
Yeah, so 1982, and then I believe the Oldsmobile left NASCAR probably in 93, 94, somewhere around there when they bailed out of NASCAR. These cars were fast, but they were boxed in as Not as pleasing to the eyes. Those
Yeah, but that was some good racing back then, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Whew, they were all over it, man.
Well, they could beat and bang and still continue to race. You know?
Not anymore.
So this was the generation when I got into NASCAR and I was going to the racetrack. This was the Generation 4 car, 1992 to 2006, and this is when the stands were really packed full. Cars were not necessarily ugly, but these were the years in which Cup cars ceased to look anything like production cars. It was all about aerodynamics, not aesthetics. And the result were rounded off cars that looked clay molded into a child's perception of a car rather than the actual car. The design at the end of the generation around 2005-12, better known as the car of tomorrow,
COT.
Complete disaster, massive splitters, gross spoilers plagued this generation of Cup cars, despite the safety announcements that were associated with its development. Fortunately, the splitters and spoilers shrunk by the end of this generation, but the design remained relatively generic and boring. All right, Gen 6 car, which 2013 to present, manufacturers required body panels placed on existing chassis. Enhanced body design, better resembles the showroom cars. Design puts stock back in stock car racing. All right. And then here comes the Gen 7 car, which is the next generation.
Yeah, baby.
We have a lower horsepower engines, greater visual showroom similarities. So Brad Keselowski, regarding the Gen 7, he likes the grill opening that goes through the hood so the engine doesn't have to run super hot for performance. I kind of like that idea too.
Yes.
He thinks that it will save teams a lot of money.
Yep.
Yep. I agree with that. I like that. So what's up, K-Ballard? Gen 7 cars will look more like production road cars and also feature engine technology and more closely related to a dealership car, which makes you wonder when the engine is going to follow as far as the double overhead cams and this kind of thing. You know,
independent rear suspension.
Oh, yeah, the independent rear suspension you were talking about earlier today.
Yep.
Some of the road course, street course.
Well,
basically, right?
Everybody thinks they're going to be going to a street course in 2021, joining with an IndyCar race. So it's either going to be St. Petersburg, Florida, it's going to be Long Beach, California, or it might be Belle Isle up in Detroit.
Yep.
So a street road course, NASCAR's going in 2021. We're going to shrink the schedule, still keep it at 36 races, right? Still got to keep those races because without racing, those teams ain't getting paid, right? But they're gonna shrink the schedule and put a couple Wednesday or a Thursday night race in the middle, and we're gonna get down. We're gonna be done by the beginning of October.
Yeah,
You watch.
K Ballard says next year's Jimmy Johnson's last year. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. If you want to go back and watch this video, you'll see some of the stuff we went over for the Cup Series news.
Yeah.
And Xfinity Truck Series. So Terry says I'll research and see if I can find out when the plan to bring out the engine. Okay. Yeah, thanks. And the street race idea was on MSN today. I've seen an article about it somewhere. So yeah, it's definitely
coming. It's coming. I mean, you know, Roger Penske is going to do miracles for motorsports. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
know, it's amazing what he can do now, being the owner of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the owner of IndyCar Series and has a NASCAR team. He can make things happen. Jim France, good job.
You know, some of those the video games, the NASCAR video games, they've been running on road racing stuff,
street courses.
Yeah,
you're gonna have a couple more 90-degree turn area, but you know it's still gonna be fun. Look, I hear they pack the place out in Long Beach, California, and let's face it, it's kind of like a Talladega on steroids, right? A lot of people show up there and don't even see the race,
right? Yep. And
I'd love to go to St. Petersburg or Long Beach, California, more NASCAR, and all them big fancy stars are going to be there.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be something to see.
It'll be different,
but you only got to have one because you got to make it special.
They're gonna
just like Eldora, just like the Roval. You just need one.
They're going to have some helicopters and some big cameras with some good zoom lenses.
That's right.
For a TV set.
2021, I know Terry doesn't want to do it, of course. I know what you're saying, but they got to involve the sport, and they're going to take a lot of these tracks that have 2 races, and if you can't get it done like Pocono next year with the double header, they'll be gone.
Yep.
We might go to one Martinsville. We may only have one Bristol. We may only have one Richmond. It's going to make those races so much more important. I'm telling you.
There will be 2 stages to the Gen 7 car. The car first, and then the engine second. There may be even an electrification at some point. Maybe there'll be a, like the. I don't think it's going to be all electric.
I hope not.
I don't know what they're going to do about that, but the Gen 7 car could make for shorter races and cost caps. If done correctly, be the cost neutral, perhaps even cheaper. And being one piece, this was used in the 2019 All-Star race, and it had good feedback. Shorter races, perhaps even shorter season to keep the fans interested. Thinking about the fans' attention span, that could pay out in cost savings. It is believed that Dallara will have the task of development of the 2021 car using its advanced knowledge of cockpit safety. So Dallara Automobili is an Italian chassis manufacturer for various motor racing series, being most notably for its near monopoly in Formula 3 since 1993.
And I predict there'll be another manufacturer in 2021 too.
Yeah, probably like a foreign.
Probably Honda.
Or like Honda, yeah.
If you're going to mess around with the IndyCar folks and all them folks from Japan,
they're
going to
they're going to swing in.
Dude, they got those.
Yeah. Sorry. Dallara also produces the chassis used by the IndyCar Series, Indy Lights, F1A, Formula 2 Championship, many others. And is a manufacturer of the Grand Am Rolex Sports Car Series and world premier chassis suppliers since the 1970s. So, man, they get into it. And they're going to fall in love with NASCAR, I think. And then it's going to be, who knows. Gen 7 represents the start of the new NASCAR. Shorter races, shorter seasons, more night races, more short tracks. So we'll see. It's not about the car and driver. It's more about expanding and getting the grassroots level, returning to where it all started, yet looking to the future and safety. I'm not sure who wrote that or got this. Anyway. Fans always say they want the cars to look like cars they drive. This is from Joey Logano. Joey Logano says, but we will never see that race on Sunday, sell on Monday car again. And it's good because the new cars are a lot safer. All right. So give your opinion in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hit the subscribe if you're not a subscriber already. And hit the bell notification for future videos. And also remember to tune in, follow my Hamm the Engine Man podcast. So you can find that as you're driving down the street, driving down the road safely. I hope.
Let's give a shout out to Billy Buck and 92.9 WAME.
Yeah, check us out on WAMEradio.com.
That's right. The Chillbillies.
Follow the WAME Chillbillies on Facebook.
Yeah.
WAME Driver 5. All that good stuff. You could see me on the radio every Monday evening for the Monday Hamm Jam, and from 5 to 6 on WAME. And also Thursdays and Fridays, we always have local live music.
Before we go, Terry has a question. If you were named president for one day of NASCAR, what rule change would you make? Ooh, looks like Terry says lower ticket prices. If you were president for one day of NASCAR, what rule would you change?
That's a tough one.
Go to NASCAR Country on Facebook, folks.
Yes.
And post your answer.
That's a good one. I was actually going to say that about NASCAR Country.
I'm going to do that.
Check out our NASCAR Country page on Facebook. You won't be disappointed.
If David Hamm was elected president tomorrow, he only has one thing he could change, and that'll be it on Facebook. So stay tuned.
I'd have trouble just narrowing down one thing because, I mean, honestly,
only one thing.
I could change. I would go back to being more like it was when I was a kid watching NASCAR. And how I would do that, I'm not sure.
We have some of the best racing now.
Yeah.
Don't knock that.
I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying.
Would it be qualifying?
Well, no. What I'm saying is, I would say. I mean, the drivers back then, they seemed like they had personalities, and they could say and do whatever they wanted to. Now I know there's reasons why nowadays it's just like the drivers are scared to say anything. Now, and I'm not a Kyle Busch fan, but I kind of like his competitiveness.
But it doesn't have to be in the Cup Series.
And
if you're president for NASCAR, you could say, I'm going to take the truck series and take it to all the short tracks around the country.
All right. So what I would do, probably first thing I would say, I would say the trucks on Thursday night, the Xfinity on Friday night, and the Cup Series on Saturday nights. And I would open up some of these tracks that have been shut down. Some of the in North Wilkesboro, I bring back some of the more local tracks, short tracks. And you don't need to race some of these West Coast races twice a year. But I would bring back some of these short tracks, and we would go racing. I might even add in another dirt track race or two. I'm not sure you're a fan of the dirt track racing in the Cup Series, but I'd like to see some of that. I think that would be really cool, and have a big dirt track.
I'll post my answer on Facebook, NASCAR Country.
Yeah, that's it, Tracy. Tracy knows what I'm talking about. She says no engine restrictions, just like the old days.
Let it go, baby.
I mean, it's never going to happen again. But man, back then it was more fun for me as an engine builder. We could make more power. We could work. I mean, it was more challenging. It was more exciting. And you'd find 10 horsepower, 5-10 horsepower on a dyno, and you were going to go to the race, and you were so excited to get that new, what you just found to the racetrack. Now it's just like, you can't do that. Anyway, some of that stuff right there. All right. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks so much, and we will see y'all. I guess I'll do it again in 2 weeks from today, 2 weeks from this Monday, and we'll find some more NASCAR news. I'm sure there'll be plenty more news to go around in this off season. And I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, and Christmas is coming. So make sure you get your mom and dad, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband. Take care of everybody. Get them
and your dog
and your kids, your daughter, son, grandson, granddaughter, and your dog. That too. So that way it's a team. Tracy, that way it's a team win, not just who drives better. Yeah, that's good. She's like old Earnhardt, you know. So
love to meet it.
She kind of knows a lot about racing. Her dad worked in racing here again, and all these different people back in the day. So, all right, thank y'all so much for tuning in, and tell Rachel she missed out on a good show, and Tom Robinson, because I texted Tom. I called Tom earlier, and I don't know. I think he's at the fire department. He probably don't have a signal. So there you go. Good job, Tracy Hamm. Thanks for tuning in. She said that was my answer. Yeah, you got that right. All right, so we'll see y'all. Thanks, Paul, and everybody else to tune in, and we'll see you next time.
Love you, minute.